This is Dr. Jack Peruci from the files of I Am Medusa. Today, someone near and dear to us will be featuring 3 artists from the wonderful world of WonderCon.
Hi, I'm Jeff Allen, part of the film Medusa, and I'm here today with Josh Figueroa. He's going to do a sketch for us of Medusa, and here's Josh.
Hi, I'm Josh Figueroa. My style of art is comic book art.
So Josh, tell us, what do you think of the character Medusa? What's your take on her?
My take on the character Medusa is something from mythology. It's a creature, probably a way that Greek people used to explain something they couldn't explain. So maybe they would come up, using their imaginations, they would come up with a mythological monster.
Josh, can I ask you, what's your most favorite character that you've ever drawn?
For me, I would have to say my own characters are the most favorite ones I've ever drawn. Right now I'm working on a children's book and a comic book, both of which will be out by the end of the year. But I also tend to focus on comic book art, so that's something that I'm very interested in. I'm starting the face. What's going through my head is basically right now I'm adding snake heads to the character, to the hair, because I know, well, traditionally, like, Medusa is not she's a monster, and I know that she's a female, and when she looks at the viewer, I think she might have to be so repulsive that people are almost shocked when they see her. So I'm trying to make her, I'm starting with sort of a generic head, but I'm also trying to make her as repulsive and disgusting as I can, and I'm doing like really quick, shapes for what the snake heads would look like, and the bodies, and trying to also be dynamic in the sense of the way the snakes are moving around her head. I don't have a realistic style. I have more of a stylized look. If you look at my children's book, that's sort of what the style that I'm going for right now. Yeah, to me, like, she would probably have all sorts of markings, and maybe, I'd give her bony projections near the forehead. I would just try to make her look really gruesome, but recognizable enough to where she would look like a woman, because I know that even though she's a monster, I think that it's really important to stick to the aspect that she's a woman, and she's got these snake heads coming out of her hair, and maybe the snake heads are just they're part of her, and she doesn't really have hair. So but yeah, that's really what I'm thinking about right now as I formulate the drawing or the sketch. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
And Josh, where can if anyone wants to see your work, where can we find you?
If people want to see my work, they would have to go to http://www.fig-studios.com.
And Josh, what do you think about WonderCon this year?
I love WonderCon. I mean, I'm having a great time. I'm selling prints. I'm engaging possible clients and people that might be interested in picking up my children's book or my comic book. And I'm also doing really well selling prints. So I'm having a great time. I love it. I'll be back next year.
Hi, I'm Jeff Allen with Film Medusa, and I'm here with Jeremy Burley, who's an artist, and we're at WonderCon, and we're going to ask him a few questions about his work. So Jeremy, what's your process, your style? How would you describe your work?
Well, I do a mix of like traditional and digital. I like to work in pencil drawings, work out my composition, then I'll scan those drawings in, bring it in, and color it digitally.
Okay. And Jeremy, what's maybe your favorite piece that you've done, or the favorite character that you've drawn recently?
Well, one of my favorites is definitely my Medusa piece. I tend to do a lot of images that has a tinge of horror, a tinge of a little bit of sexuality. And this one is doing a seductive, fierce creature, but instead of serpents, she has eyeballs, stalks on the top of her snakes.
That's very interesting. That's an interesting take on Medusa. And so, Jeremy, tell us, what is your take on the character Medusa? What do you think about her and other Greek mythology?
Well, you know, I think I like the idea of her as a fault, you know, not so much even if it's a monster, but kind of like a mythological femme fatale. She's someone who, now that she's cursed, has this horrific side to her. I like the idea of her not being, you know, looking scarred and disfigured. The idea of she's this incredible beauty, but her beauty will still, you know, curse and destroy you. So I like to portray her as a beautiful creature, but, you know, there's this horrible dark side to her that can just crawl into you, possess you, and destroy you. Well, for inspiration, I like to turn to human experience. I like horror, I like stuff that's sexy, I like monsters, and I also like humor. So in a lot of my pieces, there'll be a juxtaposition where I like to take something that's beautiful, but make something creepy about it so it pushes you away, or take something that is beautiful and make it look horrific. I like artwork and stories that have a push and a pull to them. You're both drawn in and repelled at the same time. That's sort of my aesthetic, both my visual aesthetic and in terms of the content.
That's great, Jeremy. And how's WonderCon going for you? Do you come here every year, and what do you think of it this year?
I've been to the show for the past 3 years since you know, that's been in Anaheim, and I've also done it a few times in the Bay Area. I love the show. I have a great time here. It's one of my must-do shows every year.
Great. Well, thanks very much for your time, Jeremy. Can you tell if anyone wants to find your work, where can we find you?
My website is optichouse.com. You can find all of my comics, artwork, original drawings, art prints. My name is Jeremy Burley. I'm at WonderCon for #IamMedusa.
Hi, I'm Jeff Allen with Medusa, and we're here interviewing Tiffany Lee, who's agreed to do a Medusa drawing for us. Tiffany, first can you tell us a little bit about your style and your process, your creative process for your drawings?
I kind of like been inspired by Art Nouveau and other things like that, so you can see like from my drawings there's very calligraphic and very wispy. And so, but also for like my little miniatures, I just like to draw like really cute, kind of flowy characters that are just very dynamic.
So Tiffany, can you tell us a little bit, what are your thoughts about the character Medusa?
I've always been very inspired by like Greek mythology, so I've always like looked into like all those stories. And so Medusa is like a very interesting character for me too, because of like the way that she falls down as like a human character and has been punished to become like this creature that no one can like ever look at directly anymore.
That's a very interesting take. And is there anything symbolic about the snakes in Medusa's hair that you think?
I think for Western interpretation, snakes are more villainous and everything. So they're trying to like create her as like possibly like the worst type of like, in this way, like viper kind of like poisonous character. So it's an interesting take on like a woman in general, calling them like, you know, a snake.
And Tiffany, how's WonderCon been for you? Do you come to WonderCon every year, and how's this one been?
Actually, this is my first WonderCon, so it's been fun and interesting, and I've just been trying to produce as much art as possible.
Well, congratulations on your first WonderCon, Tiffany. And where can, if anyone wants to find you on the web, where can they find you?
Basically, follow my handle on like Instagram, Facebook, and it's Leitealeaf, Letealeaf. This is Tiffany Lee at WonderCon for #IamMedusa.
This is Dr. Jack Peruci from the files of I Am Medusa.